Good, like boy, Miriam boy, say. Nishmas, Miriam Dombey. Hayom shloishim yoim sheim arba'a shavuos v'chamisha yomim boimer loimer sponsored Lili Nishmas, the young girl Sarah Shalom Bas David, a 12-year-old girl. Let's go back over here. I always love to get these emails. They're far and few in between. Shalom Bracha Rav Choshev Eli Stefansky in Hebrew. Baruch Hashem, I'm an Avrich Emir. Recently I found out about Yeshurim and different things. Okay, I want to tell you that usually you read mails from people who are usually considered a Bali Batim or older people. And because of the shir, they learn more, but you should know. You probably know this already. I'm an Avrich, and a few of my friends, the Avreichim, we are nispal and misragish from the way that you give over the geshmak and the change it makes in lives. So, if somebody thought differently, Avreichim also need chizuk and idud. You hear this, Rosh Koilel? Avreichim also need chizuk, idud. Continue learning Torah, huh?
I tried to send them all to share.
Did anybody grab yet? Now they look down at you. Oh, you go to the Simcha, Cheshek, Yeshakayach Atzum, Yeratzon, Shetitzke, Lahamshich, Laharbitz, Torah, Berabim, Besimcha, Moshe, Düsseldorf, Yerushalayim. This is a nice piece that Gershi Rose wrote. I will not read it. It was one of the first emails I am not going to read, but I'm putting it out here. Whoever wants to read it and laugh to themselves, go ahead. Aharonov, Rebelli, no words to thank you for the new tablet. I drive to work and at times listen to the email while I have internet service. I usually try to listen to shir during the day, but with poor service on my phone, it wasn't possible. I ordered a tablet excited as a kid in an ice cream store. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, your talent since Nedarim 57. Aharonov. Thank you so much for the sharing community. Says Shalom Israelev. I started the daf at the Siyum and lasted through Shkolim. In other words, from Brachas to Shkolim. That's not bad. Brachas, Shabbos, Eruvin, Psachim, Shkolim. What is that, a few hundred daf? But fell out of it and kept starting and stopping. Since joining this year, I not only have kept to the Yomi, but have also been inspired to go back to the Mesechtas I missed. While driving on the Staten Island Expressway, I was listening to today's daf where the Gemara mentions the size of Rabbi Shmuel. As he read the words, this Ford Expedition merges in front of me. I followed him off the highway and took a picture of his license plate. You can't make this up. Hashtag kiss from Hashem. Here's the picture. In New York. New York. We have here paratrooper Chaim Levin, and I forgot his name, the motorcycle guy. He's a chaverim, a cop. I forgot what he is, but okay, he comes to all the functions in Brooklyn. So here by the Hadlaka of Rabbi Twersky in Brooklyn, paratrooper Chaim Levin sets up shop once again. Of course, this is the picture of the Ma'ara that we had the other day. Rabbi Yosef, the Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnas HaChodesh li Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe li Nishmas Chai bas Yosef. Parnas HaYoim, Avi and Rosalie Hauptman, Hillcrest Queens. The wedding of our granddaughter, Rachel Berk of Elkana, to paratrooper Dan Sonnenblick of Rishon and Riverdale. You guys know him? You do? You grew up with him? No one grew up with him. Mazel Tov. Parnas HaYoim by Peretz Chaim Levin. B'zchut atnã Eloki, Rabi Shimon Bar Yochai, and my favorite daf, Peiches, Peretz Chaim. Parnas HaYoim, Miriam Dombey. In honor of Yehuda Dombey on the occasion of his birthday. Love, Ima, Mazel Tov. Big 5-0. 1 minute, I need a video. I need it on him, Avremi. Do we have? Oh, Hold on, I'll get up for you. Yishka, really, you give me a lot of chizuk by sitting here. Be'emes. It's very chashuv. Now we need Mayor to join. Be'ezer Hashem, when he's here. Okay. Rabbi say we're holding on the bottom of Amud Beis. I stopped here also because the Israelis were showing up and it was kind of late. We did a little bit of hadlaka here. As you see, we had like this oil thing. It was very nice. There were not that many people at the shiurim but the fact that people actually showed up was unbelievable. There's so many hadlakas going on, and it's cool to go with your kids from place to place. Completely understand that the fact that there's people, and by the Hebrew also, is unbelievable. So we stopped here because it's actually, we could have gone all the way to the last words in the Amud, but it's a continuation. So we're talking about this pasuk. Kisavai bekerem riyacha v'achalta. Anovim, kinafshucha, sveacha. You come into someone else's vineyard and you eat grapes. Seems like you're allowed to go in. So the Gemara says, no, we're talking about a worker. The whole sugya was talking about, can a worker eat food as he's working? Like, lahavdil, lisachson. You're not allowed to put a muzzle on an animal as he's threshing the grain. So does that apply to a human being as well? So we'll see a little bit more of it today. But the Gemara learned at the end from the word chermesh and kama that this isser to stop your employee from eating applies to all fruits, not only grain. And therefore, what do we do with the pasuk? So the Gemara learns a whole bunch of different halachas. And now here we are, middle of the halachas here. V'achalta, like 5 lines from the bottom. V'achalta, what do we do with the word v'achalta? V'loi moitzet. Interesting halacha. You're permitted to eat the grape, but don't suck a little bit out of it and then throw it away. By the way, Shalom Aleichem, you're from South Africa? Where are you from? Edison, New Jersey, close. Anybody here from South Africa? Nobody? Okay. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? You're a dad? What's your name? Yeah. Even we know. What's the first name? Levi. Shalom Aleichem, Levi Tiefenberg. Shalom Aleichem. We love your son. Yeah. Welcome. Okay, so anyway, don't make half use out of it. Give a little taste and then throw it away. You want to eat it completely. Anovim, v'loy anovim v'dover acher. Don't put salt on it, or like today we do strawberries and chocolate, so you have something like this also. Grapes and chocolate, that might make you eat it a little bit more than normal. Kinafshecha, kinefesh shel balabayis, and we're going to see this drasha a number of times, another like 2, 3, total 3 maybe. Kinafshecha. Your employee is like your nefesh, like yourself. Kinefesh shel balabayis, kach nefesh shel poyel. So too is the nefesh of the employee. Just like when you eat in the beginning, before there's a gemar malacha, before you're done with this produce, as you're getting it ready to sell, to whatever, you're pater from meiser, you eat, you snack on it, you don't have to give meiser. So too the employee, when he eats, he's pater from meiser. The word savecha, until you're satiated, but don't be a chazer, don't eat too much of it. What does that mean? So the Minchas Chinuch sticks in here a very interesting halacha. What if you just came from a wedding? Yeah, mamish, you just ate you ate. So you're completely full, and now you went to work in somebody's vineyard. It's also for you to eat the grapes. It's not only that you can't fill yourself up with that person's grapes, but even if you're full, you're not allowed to eat the other person's grapes. What did I say? Oh, sorry. No, I really thought I said that. It's interesting. And you shouldn't put the grapes into your own vessel. The Torah is telling us, when did this occur? It occurs when you're reaping the fruit, then you're allowed to eat. When you're going with the tractor and gathering all these grapes and fruits, then you're permitted to eat. It's the middle of the season. the fruit are pretty raw, they're not ripe yet, then you're not permitted to eat. Omer Rabbi Yanai. Einatevel mischayev b'maiser ad she'yireh pnei habayis. So, before you take trumas and maises from the fruit and you eat the fruit, what happens to you? What happens if you eat tevel? You eat fruit that doesn't have maiser. Yechayev misa b'dei shemayim. When are you chayev to give maiser? Says Rabbi Yanai, ad she'yireh pnei habayis. Throughout Shas, we learned this idea right here, miruach. Remember this concept, miruach. When you flatten out, you straighten out your pile, that's the Gemara Malacha. Then you're saying, I am done. I have nothing else to do over here. I'm finished. Once you're finished, that's when the chiyuv of Meiser comes to play. Rabbi Yanai says, and so does Rabbi Yochanan, it's not true. All this that we thought is not true. Yes, you have to do miruach, you have to do Gemara Malacha, but you also have to bring it into your house. If you didn't bring it into the house, Pnei Habayis, through the front door, it has to be from the door. Let's say you brought it in from a window, from a skylight, you're not chayiv. What about Gemara Malacha? I don't care about Gemara Malacha. So, the Gemara is going to go back into this and see, does Gemara Malacha do something or not? At She'yireh Pnei Habayis, Shenemar. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. There are those who argue. Achir pnei habayis. Shenemar bi'arti hakodesh min habayis. The vidui, the third year of the Shemitah cycle, you say a vidui. Yadi kodesh min habayis. Sadi l'leiv yer. L'shachachim tzesechel. L'chalti. No, whatever the lashon over there is. You say a vidui. The famous story with the Chavetz Chaim of Schwab. Schwab went to the Chavetz Chaim, so the Chavetz Chaim told him. He asked him, are you a Kohen? No. Are you a Levi? No. Why not? Why are you not a Kohen? So Shmuel had no idea what that, what do you mean, why not? He said, I'll tell you why not. Because when there was Chet HaEgel, Moshe Rabbeinu said, Mila Shem Elai, my great-great-great-grandfather, he went forward and yours sat on the couch, didn't do anything. So Mela, when you go to America, you should have this in mind. Answer the call. Sometimes something's going to happen. Don't sit on your couch, because you never know. Generations later, there'll be a time against you. So you go, get up. Mila Shem Elai. Sometimes you don't hear it, but you have to understand it. Mila Shem Elai. You have to be the one that jumps up and takes control. So I don't remember who says the pshat that we say vidui. What's a vidui? Vidui is something you say when a person, Rahman al-Islam, is about to leave this world. You say vidui. On Yom Kippur, you say vidui. What's vidui? Vidui that you took trumas. Why is that vidui? Saying no. I'm saying Hashem, I feel bad that my great-great-grandfather, he didn't step up to the call. That's the vidui. The reason I'm giving the kohen meiser is because I'm not a kohen. I could have been a kohen. I could have stepped, my great-great-grandfather could have stepped forward.
Who says that?
I don't remember. Huh? Rabbi Yochanan argues slightly on Rabbi Yanai. He says, listen, even a courtyard here, once you don't have to bring it into the house, even the front yard creates a chiyuv. Now you have to give, it obligates you to give the trumas and meiser. Shenemar, and I'll prove it to you. V'achlu b'sharecha. Once you go through the gate, v'saveyu, and it's satiated. Rabbi Yochanan and Ami Yoksim and Abayis. Why would Rabbi Yochanan say b'sharecha is enough? It says bi'arti hakodesh min habayis. It has to be in the house. And we're going to ask the same thing on Rabbi Yanai. How come he doesn't go with the b'sharecha? Omar loch chatzur dumi the bayis. Yes, it says the entire house, but sometimes there's a chatzur that's similar to house. Ma bayis amishtamer. What does house mean? House means that's protected. There's certain things that a house has brought down in the Rishonim. You could eat. You're not worried about people staring at you. If somebody walks into your house, you say, hey, please step out. Somebody walks into your chatzar, get out of here. So the chatzar and the house are the same. Rabbi Yanai nami yoksib sharecha. Why does Rabbi Yanai say dafka house? What about the chatzar? Lapuki derech gagois v'karfivois deloi. B'sharecha doesn't mean into your chatzar. It means that you bring it from the front door and not through the roof and a karfaf. So again, they're saying that miruach is not enough. You need to bring the food into the house in order to be chayiv and meiser. Up until that point, you're not chayiv and meiser. You can eat it. You're not chayiv anything. As we said before, yeah, not a new drasha. Stam der chagav. To pause for a second, that the Torah emphasizes once again, how do you treat your employee? Kinavshecha. It's very important. Kinavshecha. You treat your employees like you treat yourself. Torah emphasizes it again and again. We had it the other day in a different context. Just like you, the balabayis, you eat without taking meiser, so too your worker takes without eating meiser. So, but the Gemara says, but I could be medayek, halokaya, chayev. There's three people. There's the balabais, the guy that owns it. There's the employee. There's another guy, the buyer. It doesn't say anything about the buyer. It seems like the buyer, if he purchases some of your fruit, he does have to give meiser. Now the question is, why? Where's the Gemara Malacha here? What happened? It didn't go into the house. You're telling me it has to go into the house. It seems like the guy that buys it is chayiv even if it doesn't go into the house. What made it chayiv? Purchasing cannot be any better, says Rashi, than doing a gemar malacha. You're saying doing miruach, flattening out is nothing, into the house. And buying it is more of an action than flattening out? How does purchasing show that I'm done with this fruit versus I'm done? Putting up a sign and saying I'm done. That's not enough saying I'm done. Flattening out. I have to bring it into the house. So why is it that a guy that purchases it doesn't have to bring it to the house? He's chayiv even before that step. Omer Papa, you're not going to believe this. You might not like it. Omer Papa, we're talking about even in a case where it's in a field, where the guy buys a bunch of fruit on the side of the road, by the farmers, you go upstate, wherever it is. You see these guys selling the corn right there by the field. You buy some corn, you chayiv meiser. Why? Where's the gemar malacha? It didn't come to the guy's house. You told me that the only time you're chayiv and meiser is once it comes into the guy's house. There's no house there. Omer Papa, you're right. There was a house. How's there a house? Doesn't say anything about a house. You have to say there's a house. He bought it after it was in the house. We're talking about a fig. Taisus doesn't like the fig because we know we keep on mentioning, what are you chayiv mid'oraisa on meiser? Dagon, tirosh v'yitzar, according to most Rishonim. So that's wheat, grapes, and oil, yitzar, olives. And now all of a sudden we're talking about teina. Well, there are Rishonim that say no, you chayiv on shivas haminim. So teina is part of the shivas haminim. So this is a great right to the Rambam. It says mefurish, you're talking about meiser, and the rights in a second we're going to even say mefurish that we're talking about the right. It says okay, that's what people had in those days. That's normal for a guy to have a fig tree in his front yard. I'm going to spare you this Taisus unless you guys want to do the whole Taisus. It's not bad, that Taisus. Here, so Akapan, we're talking about, nowadays it's an apple tree. In those days it was a fig tree. So right over here you have a tree that's outside, but it's the knife. How do you say knife? The branches, okay. They come over the fence into your house. So when you pick it, you already did bias. You already mekayim the bias. If you say chotzer, okay, it's going over the chotzer. We have a machlokes. Is it enough to go into the yard, or you must bring it all the way into the house? Okay, so if it's in the house, this is the story right here. Poof. It went into the house. What are you asking me? Oh, how's the guy that purchased it? Chayiv meiser, because it went into the house. We're talking about such a case. Yochai, if that's the case, that the fig went into the house, Balabayis Namad Chayiv. So why in this case is the owner of the fig potter from Meiser? It went into his house. We're done. Says Gemara, no. Balabayis Einov B'tei Nosoi. V'loikeach Einov B'mekoi. The owner doesn't care about one branch. He cares about the whole tree. That's what he loves the tree. So when he thinks about the tree, he wants everything on that tree. So until he has all the fruit from that tree, he's not chayiv. But when you're purchasing a bag of figs, that's all you want, is a bag of figs. So you're chayiv when you have that bag, and if it's in the house, that makes you chayiv. If it's in the field, you're potter. That's what Rabbi Yana and Rabbi Yochanan are going to have to say. According to the other ones, we don't have to come on to that. Now the Gemara goes into this. So what do you think? Somebody who buys fruit in the store, is he chayiv in Trumas and Meisers? You're going to be surprised to learn that no. The chiyuv is, if you plant fruit and you eat your fruit, you're chayiv. You sell it, you're potter. Midoraisa I'm talking about, not midorabana. I'm not saying today. Midoraisa are you chayiv in Trumas and Meisers? I can prove to you that the Torah doesn't require a purchaser to take off Trumas and Meisers. Why were the stores of Hinoi, this place Hinoi, destroyed 3 years before everything else was destroyed in Yerushalayim? Reb Simcha Wasserman said that if you had a machloikis, Klai Yisrael, let's say a guy with his shul or two shuls, whatever it is, machloikis, and the people involved in the machloikis would say, you know, the reason why we're fighting is because we want kavod. We like kavod, and that's why we have a fight. That guy's not providing me enough kavod, so nothing would happen. You're being honest. But when you say the reason I'm having machlokes is because I'm standing up for the Torah, this is das Torah, this is what the Torah wants me to do, that's the worst. Don't blame it on the Torah. Don't blame your shtusim on the Torah. So this is similar, not really. I'm saying, look, we don't care about the derabbanans. We're what are they called, Mendy? Tzdukim. Yeah. Shemidu devreim al devir Torah. They go by the Torah. We have a store, we have a big business. Do I have to give Trumas and Meisers min doiraisa? Could you find it in the Torah? Yes or no? No, I don't care what Rabbanan said. A lot of people like that. I found out on Pesach, a lot of the young people were telling me this thing. We're Mekayim doiraisas, not the Rabbanans. Okay? So the Rabbanan Yechayev, but they said we don't want it. But listen, at the end of the day, if all we're trying to prove is it in the Torah or not? Their taina is that's not in the Torah. So once we see it's not in the Torah, in our sugi, we have to know it's not doiraisa, it's the Rabbanan. What did they say? Daf Amud Beis, Xayim Levin, 0.2. How does it? 2.0. Xayim Levin 2.0. Aser ta'aser v'chalta. He's not happy with the 1,400, 1,500, 1,600, 2,000. As the aser v'chalta. It says you should take meiser and eat. It doesn't say sell, eat. You take meiser when you're going to eat. So first of all, we see that the deraisa is not when you sell. Tvuas zarecha v'loy loikeach. It says mefurish over here that tvuas zarecha, what you planted, not something that you purchased. Oh, so minat Torah you're not chayiv trumas and meisres. Fine. Should we do the sponsor for a second? Sponsored by Eric Edelman of Bigger Cup Consulting and Chani and Paul Schuster with our Kars HaTorah official Simcha and Ner Tomit for Bring Rebellion MDY and Daf Yomi into our lives. Shekayach. Yeah. Well, the not the bailim. The bailim is not such a. You mean the one that grew it? Bailim is because the bailim would mean like keach also. No, the original guy, the grower. Yeah, very good. It's a chiv on the gavra, not the chefta. He's saying very good.
That's what we said. Not
The gavra meaning the grower.
There's this type of gavra, not a fake gavra, a real gavra, a gavra alima.
The Gemara agrees with these chevra, with the Sinai guys. The Gemara's been
100%. That's what I said. You have to say Hinoi was right in terms of that it's a deraisa. They're wrong not to keep the Rabbanan. They were right. We wouldn't bring them. The Gemara is saying we would knock them off. No. They had a good time that it's not in the Torah. But we know that Rabbanan said you have to give Trumas and Meisers. What? We're not talking about Tzedukim? I didn't say it's Tzedukim. I said before that they're like Tzedukim. I got it. Yeah, this particular thing. This Tzedukim l'davar echad, mumil l'davar echad. They had a big business, whatever it was. They didn't feel like giving Meiser. They wanted to go. They wanted to keep their 10%. They didn't like the fact that Chacham told them they have to give another 10% or more when they didn't have to in the Torah. Now, says the Gemara. That's, I don't know. You have to go look in those Rishonim. Why they say after that? They have their reasons. It says Dagon v'chulu. It says Gemara. Ella, you're right. So the Gemara says you are right. It's a good time. It is Doiraisa. So why did you bring a pasuk? Elam d'Rabbanan. Ukra smach. This whole pasuk Kanavshecha is just as they have some sort of source in the Torah, but it's not. The Torah didn't really say that you have to give Trumas and Meisers. They have a right. They have a siman, sort of a smach to ba'alma. If that's the case, El Kanavshecha l'mayasa. You can't say Kanavshecha is coming to say that you're allowed to eat fruit as you are working. In other words, if minat Torah, somebody who purchases fruit is pater from Meiser, so you don't need a pasuk that a worker is pater from Meiser. Of course, a worker is pater from Meiser. If a purchaser is pater from Meiser, so a worker is pater from Meiser. It's the same category. He's not the gavra, the guy that grew it. Why do I need a special pasuk Kanavshecha to say that a worker is pater from Meiser? The Mayasa. But that's not what happened there. You're talking about a share, a share, Aris, yeah, share. No, a pile. He works by the hour, by the day. Says Gemara, look at this Anya. Teaches us something else. Kanavshecha, manavshecha im chasamta pater. If you yourself control yourself. Yeah, you do one of these. Here, the guy on the right, let's say, is the owner. He's allowed to muzzle himself. He's allowed to be on a diet. He doesn't get malchus for being on a diet. So if he puts a muzzle on his employee, he's also not chayiv. Malchus. Very important. Malchus. He's not chayiv on the lav. How do you put a muzzle on your employee? Either you tell him, listen, if you don't eat, I'll pay you. Or you tell him, listen, if you eat, I'll beat you up. One of the two ways, I force the guy not to eat. But listen to this. If you want to be on a diet and not eat your donuts, you're allowed, and nobody's going to give you malchus for that. So too, if you do that to your employee, you'd be pater for malchus, but you would be chayiv for this. You're allowed to eat grapes. He can't stop you. So you're over in asay. You're just not over on the lois asay because the kanavshecha takes away the malchus. So, if we're already talking about this, the famous marshmallow test, the experiment, I don't know, so there's a machlokes, how true it is or not, but the idea is good. They put a marshmallow in front of a kid, many kids, in 1972, whatever. I forgot what college it was, once some of those universities, maybe you can't even say the name anymore, the rabbi. And they told the kid, if you don't eat it for 5 minutes, we'll give you a second marshmallow. So they followed the kids for 20 years, and they saw that those who controlled themselves, they were a lot more successful later on in life. They have the ability to control themselves. So if you think about it, I think it's the instant gratification. And I think that's what life is really about. The instant gratification. The Avera right now, or even diet, yeah? What does the diet mean? I want to eat right now. It's geschmack right now. This one marshmallow, but later on you sit and you, why did I eat it? Why? So if you would have waited a little bit and controlled yourself, you would have had a lot more hana later on. Instant gratification versus not. And the same thing with Averis. You're doing Averis, you want to talk Lashon right now, it's so geschmack, but later on you have charata. So this chasamta thing. Okay. Zog the Gemara, Mosif reminds us of Ezu Garnon Lemaisros. Just the interesting lashon, but all it means is what is it? How do you finish a malacha? How do you determine I'm done with this fruit? So when it comes to gourds, to cucumbers, to what do you call them? Pumpkin, squash, mishi paksu. So on a squash, on the cucumber, look, it has this yellow flower. When that yellow flower falls off, that's the Gemar Malacha. As the Gemara is going to say in a second. In Chinese, they call cucumbers, this is, my Chavrusa told me this and I looked it up. He had as I state in Google, I looked it up. In China, they call a cucumber a yellow melon. So why is it yellow? It's green. So there's two pshatim. And the second pshat, the Yesh Oimrim, is that because it has a yellow flower, so it's called a yellow melon. So Mishi Paksu. So I'm asking you, when is it finished? When do I determine that cucumbers are done? When that flower falls off. Says Gemara, my love. So if so, my love Mishi Paksu, my love Mishi Paksu Afil Basada. We're saying Rabbi Yochanan has to be in the house, has to be in the front yard. Over here it doesn't say that. It says when the flower falls off, there's a Gemara Malacha, then what? Ezu garnon lemaisros. You're chayiv in meiser when the flower falls off. Says Gemara loy mishi paksu babayis. You need two things. You need to be in the house and the flower fall off. Ihachi. So the Gemara now just says the language is very difficult. Why? Because it says mishi paksu. What is from that point? From that point means as soon as the flower falls off, without a house. So you tell me you need a house. So then what should it say? Ihachi mishi paksu. Why does it say from achi paksu until mibayle? Here, just to explain it a little bit. If you need two things, you need a house and you need the flower to fall off. So it should say, step one, you need a house. And not only a house, add step two. You need also not from, also that the flower should fall off. Add. You need a step two. If it's just the flower falling off, not the house, now it makes a lot of sense the way it says it now. Mishi Paksu, from the point that the flower falls off. If you need two things, so it's not from, because it's mashma that even if the flower falls off by itself without a house, it should really say achi paksu, the word ad. Okay. Says Gemara, no, I couldn't say the word ad. You know why? If it would say it like that, I would think that you need every single cucumber. You're selling 100,000 cucumbers, you need 100,000 flowers to fall off. Komash Malah, that's not true. Even if one out of the 100,000 the flower falls off, that's the Gemar Malacha for this batch right here. So that's why it says mishi means from that point of one. Another question. Yeah, so nothing new here. When are you chayiv meiser? When is it no longer mutter to eat? It becomes tevel or issa to eat. When the work is done. What does it mean? Meleches hachnosason. The malacha of hachnosason. What does hachnosason mean? To bring it in. To bring it in where? That's one way. Another way to say it in Hebrew is likanes. It's to gather. Kinos.
What if you have a big pot and it's growing inside the house?
Most people don't grow fruits and vegetables inside their house.
Okay,
in the chutzner.
Yeah, chutzner.
Yeah, that's what we discussed. If the fig goes into your house, that's like growing in the house. Yeah, what's the difference? So what are you asking? That what? You don't need Pnei Abayis? That is Pnei Abayis. That's already done. That's like Pnei Abayis. The question maybe what you're asking is, maybe trying to point this point out, don't you have to bring it into the house? It started off in the house, might not be enough. You need to bring it through. Maybe that's what you're talking about.
Take it into the house.
Right, and if it is in the house,
So then you didn't take it there.
oh, that's what he's asking. Right? But the Rishon say no, that's kolchkin, it's mamish in the house. Maybe it's chasar taking their gag. It is in the house, it's in the house. I don't know. But that's what they talk about. Says Gemara, my love. So you want to, there's two ways to learn the word. My love, to gather. Perhaps it means to gather. Lo, it's like you guys said. It means to bring into the house. That's what it means to be finished. Another pshat. Again, Rabbi Yehuda and Rachel hold that it's not enough to do miruach, it's not enough to do gemar malacha. You need to bring it into the house in order to be chayv and meiser. So it says another pshat. Kiko Amar Rabbi Yehuda. When did Rabbi Yehuda say you have to bring it into the house? Not all fruit, only these type of fruits, olives and grapes. The lav b'nei goyrninu. They are not the type of fruits they do goyrn to. So since it says in the pasuk, let's see if I have it here. Oh, goyrn. So Mela, the only chitim and tzorim you have to bring into the house. Ashkechon, okay, it's a brand new sugya. Rabbi side brand new. So if you didn't like this kind of stuff, we have a whole different type of sugya now, starting brand new and easy. Ashkechon adam b'mechubar v'shar b'talosh. So far in our Mishnah talks about an employee who works for you. He's permitted to eat fruit that is attached to the ground. As he's plucking it off the ground, he's taking it off the vineyard, he's allowed to eat grapes. But it's mechubar. And the shar, we said about, let's see, shar, check this out. This shar right over here, this bull, what does he eat? What are you not allowed to muzzle? In this case, he's doing disha, he's threshing. When you thresh grain, it means it's detached. So the only case that we know of when it comes to an animal is that an animal is permitted, you're not permitted to give him a resen, a muzzle. You're not going to muzzle him when he's threshing, meaning when he's dealing with detached fruit. Attached fruit, we don't have any source for. So there's two things that we're looking for in this Gemara, and through Kav HaChaimer we're going to get to it. First of all, a human being, how do you know that when he works in a place where the fruit is detached, how do you know he's allowed to eat? And how do you know that an animal is allowed to eat from attached fruit? We know a human being mechuber, and we know an animal not mechuber. How do you know the reverse in both of them? Adam b'talish minol. Let's start with a human being. How do you know that if you have a worker who is working with grapes, he's taking the grapes from the ground and putting them in a box. He's carrying a box of grapes to the store. How do you know he's allowed to eat from the grapes? Kavachaymer mishar, simplest kavachaymer ever. Kavachaymer from mishar. Umashar she'enei oichel b'mechuber. The truth is not so simple because of this line right here. A shar does not eat. He's not permitted to eat from attached. Says Rashi, what do you mean? In a second, we're going to learn that a shar is permitted to eat from attached. Says Rashi, it means it's not in the Torah. Shar is weak because it doesn't say in the Torah he's allowed to eat from a chubar. Nevertheless, a shar can eat betalosh, a shar when he's threshing. The detached wheat, you cannot muzzle him, he's permitted to eat. Adam shaycha b'mechubar, but a human being that can eat from attached, and he didn't shaycha betalosh, certainly he could eat from attached. Here, let me just show you what I did here to make it very, very simple. We have a Kav HaChaimer, and the Kav HaChaimer says that if a ox could eat detached, certainly a human being could eat detached. Simple Kav HaChaimer. Wait a minute, but I have a pircha. What's the pircha? A shar, you're not allowed to muzzle a shar. But a human being, you could muzzle maybe. This doesn't say anywhere that you can't muzzle a human being. So Mela, a shar is more chamer. So therefore, there goes your Kav HaChaimer. But if I could get rid of this red thing and prove to you that you're wrong, that a human being you also can't muzzle, then what? Then I have a Kav HaChaimer. I have a Kav HaChaimer. I'm knocking the Kav HaChaimer now. You know what? Shar is different than it. Don't prove anything from a bull. Human and bulls are very different. Why? A bull, I'm not allowed to put a muzzle on. A human being, maybe I could. Says Gemara, no. But a human being also, you can't put a muzzle on. Oh, so if I have purple, I don't have red. And if I don't have red, I have blue. I have the kavachomer. A person does no, well, we said, just to clarify this, what if you put a muzzle on your employee? You're over anything? Yes, you're over on, and I say, v'achalta. It means, the Gemara over here means that you're not chayiv aloisas, you're not chayiv malchus. But says the Gemara, wait a minute. So therefore, right now at this point, we're at red. Red knocks out the kavachomer. There's a pircha the kavachomer. If we can knock out the pircha with the purple, then we're back to square one, and we do have a good kavachomer to teach us that a human being should be able to eat, an employee should be able to eat when he's dealing with fruit that's detached. But let's make a different kavachomer, that a person, you should not be able to put a muzzle on a human being, and if you do, you're chayiv malchus. A shar, if you see a nebach shar walking down the street, I was in Africa, right? You see bulls walking around everywhere. You see the guy's a real nebach. He's very skinny. You have a chiyuv to give him tzedakah? No. Adam, you have a chiyuv to provide him. You're not allowed to put a muzzle on him. Adam, a human being that you have to give him tzedakah. Where does it say in the Torah you have to be mechaya a person? Who said that? This week's parasha. So I was looking for Bar Torah to say over at the Suda, and I found this Maisa on this pasuk and the following pasuk. A beautiful story from the Chofetz Chaim that I don't think I said over. I don't remember hearing this one. When the Chofetz Chaim was in Vienna for the Knessia G'dayla, the first one in Taf Reish Pei Gimel, he stayed by a person by the name of Rabbi Akiva Schreiber. It's in his house. So everybody wanted to come see the Chofetz Chaim. Who doesn't want to see the Chofetz Chaim? The granddaughter. So guy knocking on the door. No, the Schreiber said, no, you can't. But one person he let in. He said, this guy is a known asking. He let him in. Because the guy said, listen, I need to speak to him. This is mamish, my life. He said, okay, go in. So he sits down, he brings him in, he says, the Chofetz Chaim's almost finished his meal. Sit down and wait. So the Chofetz Chaim was saying, I guess it was a weekday, he was saying, Mizmor l'David Hashem roi lo yachsar. It says in the Mishnah Berurah that you should say that even on a weekday. So he's saying, Ach toy v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai. David HaMelech says, Ach toy v'chesed. So the Chofetz Chaim, as he's saying, he turns to his guest. He didn't hear one word from him. They didn't even say Shalom Aleichem. He looks at him, he says, what's pshat? Chesed is roidif a person? Roidif means a guy wants to kill you, he's chasing you. What does it mean, chesed chases you? The Melech should be speaking about Shaul and all the people who want to kill him and his son. Chesed is roidif you. The Lashon Redifa is a little weird, a little different. Yeah. Oh, okay. You should chase them. Whether it's chasing you. But it's different. You should chase mitzvahs. I should chase mitzvahs. That's great. Well, how does the mitzvah chase you? You're running away from a mitzvah. Chasing means that he's running after you. You're running away. You're not standing still. Okay. Says the Chofetz Chaim. He looks at him. He says the pshat is that when a person does a lot of chesed, and his wife tells him stop, it's hurting the family. It's taking away from you. We don't have parnasa. You should continue doing the chesed. Continue. Don't let the redifas, don't think that chesed is bringing you down. Chesed doesn't bring you down. No matter how much you do, it's not bringing you down. It's not taking away from your parnasa. The guy looks at him, got up. He tells the Balabas, Reb Schreiber, thank you very much. Reb Schreiber says, but you didn't even speak to him. He says, you don't understand. I have two big things going on. I have a big gemach and I have this, and it's taking away. I can't anymore. It's just taking over my life. The Chofetz Chaim just told me. He says, there's no such thing. If you do that, if the chesed is right of you, so to speak, it's taking over your life, it'll be fine. So sagt die Gemara. We're doing a little different than the other kinafshecha that we had before, so pay attention over here. Kinafshecha, we had this twice already, the third time. Kinafshecha should be like your employee, the employee should be like you. If you, the employer, you put a muzzle on yourself, you potter from what? From Malchus, Afpoyel. No, we did have this one before. Yeah. We did have a Malchus before. Afpoyel chasam toy potter. If you put a muzzle on your worker, you potter from Malchus, but you are chayv in an essay. Oh, so nachamol. So let's go back over here. We're holding over here. Sorry. Yeah? We're holding that there's no pircha. If there's no pircha, there's a kavachomer. That what? That a shar should, if a shar eats when he's working with talush in the threshing, so certainly a human being. So the Gemara says, no, a human being not, because it says kenafshecha. That I have the right to stop you from eating. So I don't have a kavachomer. So right now I'm back to square 1, square 0. How do I know that a worker who works with talush is allowed to eat? Because this pasuk ruins it for us. It says in this pasuk right over here, and then at the end of the pasuk it says al kamas riyecha. So the first one, I don't know if anybody remembers from yesterday. What do we do with the word kama? Anybody remember? Kol bali kaima. We learned all fruit is included in this heter for you to eat. It's not that a grain kama that grows like this. It's all fruit, apples and oranges also. If you're working, you get to eat. But I have the second comment. What do I do with the second one? So that's the famous cloud. If I don't know what to do with this word over here, it's extra. Let me learn for something else. And that's to teach us that a human being, when he works with detached produce, he's permitted to eat. I don't even know the pasuk. It says in the pasuk. We had all in the beginning of the sugya. It says that if you walk into your friend's vineyard, you're allowed to eat. Okay, we're going to see in a second, it's talking about workers. But it doesn't say what you're doing in the vineyard. Does it say that you're plucking grapes off the vine? Maybe you were schlepping boxes, says the Gemara, and still you're allowed to eat. You're allowed to eat in all situations, even when it's detached. Great. Now let's go to the other one. How do you know if you're working a bull in a field next to fruit that are attached to the tree, wheat that's attached to the ground? How do you know you can't muzzle him? He's allowed to eat. So once again, we're going to go through this whole thing. Same exact idea. Similar thing. Doing a kavachomer from a human being. If a human being could eat from a chuber, so certainly a bull. Well, we just established that a human being eats a talush. So that Rashi says again, it's not mefurish in the Torah. A human being that it's weak. It's not mefurish in the Torah that he could eat from detached. You had to go through a whole thing, a whole sugya to find out that we learn from the word kama, etc. Nevertheless, he eats from something that's attached. So certainly an act should be able to eat from something that's attached to the ground. So the Gemara, here's the pircha. A person, you have to sustain him. You have to give him tzedakah. So I have a pircha, I don't have a kavachim. But if I have a pircha to the pircha, I have the purple, it gets rid of the red. What am I left with? A kavachimer. So no, maybe you should give tzedakah to a shar. I'll give you a kavachimer, a funny kavachimer. If you see an ox walking down the street, you just have to feed him and not let him die. Xayim. A human being, you don't get malchus. If you put a muzzle on him, nevertheless, you have to sustain him, make sure he doesn't die. You have to have more rachmanis on a shard than a human being. If you put a muzzle on him, you get malchus, and he did. So mela what? If I have purple, I don't have red. And if I don't have red, I'm left with the blue, which is a kavachimer. That shar should be able to eat from mechuber. Omar Kra, no, I don't have purple. Why? Because I have the green. No, achicha v'lo ishar, only human being you're mechuyev to give tzedakah to, not a bull. So the bottom line is, if I have green, I don't have purple, and if I don't have purple, I don't have red. If I don't have red, I don't have a kav chomer. So meila shar b'mechuber menolan. If I don't have a kav chomer, how do I know that a bull could eat from attached? Here's the pasuk. It says Kisav comments Reyecha. Comments Reyecha. What do I do with the first one? Reyecha, not a guy. Your friend, not a guy. But the second one, what do I do? Shtepam. From here I have that a bull could eat from attached. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful Lag Ba'omer, a Gavaldik day. Yeshua.